YouTube, welcome back to Through Seasonal Lens, Brilliant Pit Seasonal Wellness's video journal YouTube channel. I make these videos every month talking about seasonal wellness for the specific micro season that we are in, and I typically do it by the month. So what I do is I infuse astrology, seasonality, herbalism sometimes, I am a studying herbalist as well, into these interpretations, and I give you 3 lifestyle tips to live by for this month ahead that all incorporate astrology, seasonal living, and the best ways that you can align harmoniously with what is given to us during this time of year. I am a pure believer that seasonal living and seasonal wellness is the way that life should be led. I am a lover of nature, and if you're a lover of nature and all things that have to do with the cyclical nature of life, the ebbs and flows, how everything kind of evens out and balances, I think you're gonna love this channel and these videos moving forward. Without further ado, I would love to get into 3 lifestyle tips that you can follow for Sagittarius season. The reason I say Sagittarius season is mainly just because I'm identifying the micro season that we are in right now. And I do see with just my studies that there are 12-ish significant energies that come up during the year, and they all really do coincide with the zodiac seasons. So right now we are leaving Scorpio season and entering into Sagittarius season. What does that mean? Well, Scorpio season, for one, is a water sign. It is fixed, which means that it is in the center of the season, and it is also ruled by Mars and Pluto, which basically means that there is intensity in our day-to-day life, even if we don't necessarily have something that happened to us or experience it firsthand. There's an intensity in the energetic nature of that time of year. And so with Sagittarius season, we are now entering into the mutable fall time, meaning it is the last, third of fall, autumn season. And what that means is that this mutable energy is really adaptable to change and almost prefers things that are changing and new and looking ahead, right? So we can already say that Sagittarius is very much a futuristic thinker, really excitable by newness and happiness, pursuits that bring happiness and that new energy into the mix. And then Sagittarius is also a fire sign. So what does that mean? A fire sign means that they're well equipped with moving quickly and having things take hold in an instant, right? And a lot of people attribute that to, oh, you have fire, you have anger, you have and almost more negative emotions. But I tend to see fire signs in general as just more quick and excited, and also knows what they want. And when they know what they want, it's almost the most powerful thing for a fire sign to know what they want, because it kind of tends to happen quickly. And there's also this fun, freedom, adventure, openness that you can kind of feel with the fire element. So we can attribute all of this to Sagittarius as well. And lastly, Jupiter is the ruler of Sagittarius, the planet that rules Sagittarius. What does this mean? I definitely attribute Jupiter as the most expansive and open-minded planet, meaning it will represent things that feel expansive and moving out of bounds, similar in the way that Pisces can have a energy of boundlessness and spiritual endeavors. Jupiter is also actually the ancient ruler of Pisces as well as Sagittarius. You can attribute all of these energies to both signs as well. But a big thing with Jupiter, and just like a tendency or a trait, to just give you an example of kind of the archetype, is altruism and helping caring for others immensely to the point of your own expense. There's this energy with Jupiter that it's almost over the top in anything it takes on. So this also means the other way around, as in like selfishness. But it's the way that something can multiply like times with Jupiter. So if you are just really caring, you're just a caring, compassionate person around others, it will just be emphasized in that way, especially if it's like something that is really aligned with your identity. Just as much as, say, you really enjoy a certain activity and you have Jupiter in an area that really revolves around these activities and this interest, it could almost be seen as enthusiastic as well as almost at a high level of concentration around that energy. If all of that makes sense, I really hope it does. Please comment below if any of this is resonating with you, and I would love to hear just any suggestions of how I can explain things better for you all to understand. Let's get into these lifestyle tips now that I have talked a little bit about the constitutions of Sagittarius in general. Let's get into these tips. My first lifestyle tip is to activate the heart and mind by learning something new. An archetypal theme of Sagittarius, which may be true for Sagittarius placements or not, when I say archetypal representation, it doesn't always mean that it has to be exactly how somebody is. It just means that there could be an affinity to something in a specific area of life or in a more specific context. But in general, Sagittarius rules higher wisdom, higher knowledge, and the experiences of life that have gained those bouts of knowledge, right? So this means cultural expansion, travel, anything that involves expanding the mind, because it will then follow into wisdom that someone will hold as they get older. So when I say activate the heart and mind by learning something new, the heart is always connected to passion and what makes you happy, right? And when we think about Sagittarius, I feel like Sagittarius is always driven by these happiness, passions, and things that really drive this expansion of the mind. And that is kind of just the main idea, is that you follow your happiness and it expands your mind so much that you gain the wisdom that you would always love to have held and have. So when we do this, we activate our passion and an adventure-seeking aspect of ourselves. And it might sound counterintuitive with what the weather is bringing right now and just what everything looks like outside. It's getting colder. It's easier to stay in, which this is all what I am definitely saying to engage in. But when I say adventure-seeking aspects of ourselves, this is supported right now because of what has always represented Sagittarius has always been this adventure and the ability and the affinity to want to know more. So this doesn't mean that we have to go out and about and outside if we don't want to. It doesn't mean that we have to engage in things that are harder to do outside and aren't enjoyable. It should always be enjoyable, especially when we're talking about Sagittarius. So explore these things that make you feel adventurous. It doesn't matter if your definition of adventure means outside. It could mean something totally different for you specifically. So this new learning could be something you're familiar with already or completely new to you. So look to where you've been most inspired this year, the subjects that have caught your eye the most. So this adventure and this like learning something new, but also activating the heart center and the adventure aspect of yourself. Look to the things that have really caught your eye in the past year and the things that have really stood out to you in a way that have made you feel excited. Exciting things are Sagittarius supported feelings. So if you feel excited about something, you're more apt to engage in it for a long period of time, but also leaving it open-ended and open-minded to go into something more niche or go into it deeper in a certain way. This is all super supported right now. My second lifestyle tip is meditate on your relationship to wellness and expansion. So as I was kind of mentioning before, Jupiter represents expansion. Anything it touches, it kind of multiplies and scatters about and kind of goes into it in depthly, right? So my suggestion here is to write down all of the aspects of your life currently that feel expansive. Why do they make you feel this way? So for me, if I had to answer this question, for example, the things that are making me feel really expansive right now is engaging in my content marketing business, which I'm not sure if you guys know. All the links are below if you're interested in my work, but Essence Presents Production is the business. And I just started a newsletter and a blog. And what feels really expansive to me right now is creating content around these blogs, but also through social media, and really, really emphasizing my graphic design work and just playing around with that, getting really deep into those areas of my life and my interests, right? So that's just an example of what that could be for you. So another side of the coin, what aspirations exist for yourself that you believe will make you more whole? This is just another thing to maybe journal prompt on. But this could also just be little aspects of life that might make you feel more whole, as in fulfilled, satisfied, just deeply and emotionally sound and happy, right? Jupiter and Sagittarius archetype is all about happiness, and even it doesn't matter if these things are super healthy or super good for you, it just means happiness, right? So that is supported right now. What is simply making you happy? And not to say that what makes you happy has to be unhealthy. It doesn't mean that way. Just more so along the lines of, if you want to go buy a chocolate cake because it will make you happy right now, like that is Jupiter energy coming out and saying, yeah, this will make me happy and this will make me feel whole right now in this moment. And there's nothing wrong with that. So as we approach another solstice or peak in the cyclical progression of the year, it's harmonious right now to bring attention and awareness to the things that give us happiness and fullness. Apologies, I'm looking at my notes, so if I'm looking down a lot, it just means I have a lot of notes. So we are approaching the winter solstice, and Sagittarius is actually the last zodiac season month before the winter solstice immediately hits right as the sun enters into Capricorn from Sagittarius. So what this means is anytime we are into the solstice seasons, meaning Capricorn or Cancer season, it's always around June 21st, December 21st. It means that in the year, in the progression of the year, we are now in like this full moon moment. And the way that this is just simply the way I see it as I study astrology and seasonality. A lot of cyclical things really coincide with each other, even in different studies. So in terms of astrology, a full moon is always when the sun and the moon are exactly opposite from each other. The solstices can represent the full moon energy in terms of the equinoxes, because they are the most light and the most darkness. And then when you come back around to the equinoxes, it's equal. So therefore that cyclical cycle is representative of half moons. In my perception, let me know if this makes sense. I really hope it does. So when we think of things in patterns and in cyclical ways like this, a full moon moment is everything really coming to fruition and everything coming to a head. And what it teaches us is that intensity is always brought about by new moon moments, which are more like seed planting and being quiet and receptive to our intentions, and also setting intentions of what we want. The full moon is more showing us what these intentions have built, right? It's like you plant the seed in the new moon, and then you see the plant sprout on the full moon. So when we think of it symbolically that way, and we are about to be at the solstice, what can we learn about what makes us feel the most at peak in our aspirations, our goals, anything like that, right? It is a moment in time where obviously it's winter here in the Northern Hemisphere. And so obviously everything tends to become more inward, but what we can learn from this moment as the solstice approaches is that everything that we have accumulated since this summer has been kind of building up to this point. So what can we attribute to that in our lives right now? What is coming up to fruition? What is being manifested currently? For me, I am about to be moving. This is actually the last video I'll be doing until my move is already done. So that's been huge, and it actually has been something that has been in the works basically since the summertime and or since the equinoxes. So it's just really interesting to see the patterns play out in real life. Okay, so my third and final lifestyle tip is allow yourself free time between all of the aiming far and wide. What exactly do I mean by this? Sagittarius, the archetype of Sagittarius, is the arrow with the horse body and the human torso up. I forget what they're called right now. I think there's a word for it. But symbolically in astrology, the aiming and the bow and arrow is representative of the ability that Sagittarius has to really focus and hit targets when they put the effort into it, because there's this power that lies within this time of year as well, but mostly in like Sagittarius season, the astrology of Sagittarius, right? There's this power of what is focused on will kind of expand and become reality in some way, shape, or form. So the better that Sagittarius can focus on one thing and stick to it and really build towards that one thing once they figure it out, after they do all their traveling and adventuring and expanding, once they can settle in on something. And this doesn't have to be now. This could be if you are in your Sagittarius season, it doesn't mean that you are now settling in and focusing on your target. That's also Capricorn as well. The idea of goal setting and being grounded in that goal. But Sagittarius is the expansive, knowledge gaining aspect of ourselves. So whether that means you are in your season of travel and you are just enjoying that aspect, that is absolutely supported right now as well. So what I wrote here, Sagittarius brings free-spirited, light-hearted energy between some of the most serious zodiac signs of the year. Scorpio and Capricorn can tend to be a bit more intense and a bit more grounded and like penetrating in kind of their own constitution. This time of year, we can feel the realities of life all around us, but a sense of hope, optimism, and expansion arises in the way we view the future. That's another thing about Sagittarius, is that it is very future oriented because there is a lot of hope and optimism for the future. And I think that really gives way to their mutable energy, and why change, new atmospheres, new environments, new places feel really fulfilling, because it feels almost like they're getting closer to that future, or getting closer to that place in their mind that feels fulfilled and focused, and like they can focus, and like they've gained enough knowledge. So get curious and adventurous in your free time, and utilize this fire in doing what makes you feel happy. So this free time between all of the aiming far and wide, like I've been saying, Sagittarius can be so powerful when they are focused, but the free time is what makes the focus more fulfilling, especially when you know exactly what you want by the time you have that target. I hope these lifestyle tips helped you out this season, and I'm really, really excited to get into Capricorn next month when I'm going to be in a different environment. It's going to be very different for me, so I'm really excited for that, and I look forward to doing the Capricorn lifestyle video. So if you enjoy these videos, please give me a like and subscribe if you want to get notified about all new videos coming up. As I've mentioned before, I am currently still doing just one video a month. It is definitely what I feel like I can handle currently, but I do plan on doing more and more and more videos on this channel to help everyone who's interested and everyone who is inclined to seasonal wellness just gain more knowledge and gain more insight into the practice. So I look forward to next month, and I will see you then. Bye.